What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spread the Positive podcast. This is another STP 1200 Club member. These are my favorite these days. Super excited to welcome Chris and Sabrina Payton with 615 Negotiator. How we doing, Paytons?
Doing awesome.
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, man. I'm super pumped to have y'all. We've had several conversations off mic about what you do and the importance of the service you provide, and I love the tag team approach with the better, let's just say it, the better half, the better half holding it down,
no doubt.
holding it down with just being there as far as moral support, branding, marketing, all the above. So I don't want to tell the whole story because I don't know the whole story, but definitely want to kind of hear a little bit of both of y'all's background. Just tell the people who you are, what you're about, and we'll get into some more stuff after that.
Great.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Chris Payton, the 615 Negotiator, and as Trent mentioned, my better half, Sabrina. We've been married for almost 22 years, and just a crazy life. Spent 16 years in the automobile industry, managing dealerships, most of the sales department side of things, sat in just about every seat in dealers. And this year, God really placed on our heart, we started praying about, not only getting out of the dealership side of things, but getting to a place where we could help people with some of the knowledge and the information that I had. And, there were some folks that I've been watching and seeing do something similar to what we do. And so we started talking about, hey, how do I better use the knowledge and information that I have to help the community? So that idea started to formulate of negotiating car deals, coaching people through the process of buying a car. And, from a negotiation aspect, there's several sides of it, right? And when I first kind of started formulating the ideas and thinking about my clientele, there's car brokers, Trent. We can hire somebody to buy us a car or go find us a Mercedes or a GMC Tahoe or whatever, or Yukon, excuse me. The car guy just messed up. But you can go down that path, but there's people every day. Murfreesboro alone sells about 75 new cars a day.
Wow.
Right? Among all of the new car dealers.
Wow.
And so when you start thinking about how many people that are impacted by this process, and it's not an attack on dealers. Right. Dealers are built to make profit. Sure. And that's what they do.
They're good at it.
They're good at it. Yep. They do it every day, several times a day.
Yep.
And they'll run into good negotiators. Mm-hmm. They'll run into people who won't buy their car unless they discount significantly, won't trade their car unless they put a lot of money in their trades.
Yep.
Right. And it's really an unfair system that if you're not a good negotiator, you're going to overpay. Yep. And so when I start looking at my clientele, and my clientele is my wife.
Right.
If we weren't together or I wasn't in the car business, Sabrina, when she walked into a car dealership, would be the victim, if you will, right?
Yeah.
The
and
target.
A lot of people like me, I'm one of the women who can say when I was in college, young, I brought my dad with me because I thought he knows more about numbers. He's not going to be intimidated by these people who, just see a young female come in. That was me. I brought my dad. And not everybody is fortunate enough to have somebody that they can bring with them to kind of make sure that they have someone on their side.
Right.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
As someone that has been in the dealership world myself, definitely seen it firsthand. and it's a wild world. It's
for sure.
definitely not knocking the profession, because know some great folks that
Oh,
really
there's no
take care of
question.
people and
Yeah.
really do it the right way, and I know some folks that will knock your head off in a heartbeat and not think twice about it. So yeah, when we were talking, it just took me back. You know, I've and honestly, man, I loved it. I love the car. I love the car business, and it's got such a bad reputation. But the used car salesman's like always the example of what not to be or whatever. Yeah, and I'm like, man, that's truly unfair. It's like them and realtors too. And I'm like, realtors, yeah, you know, it's always those two. But anyway, just hearing your passion for what you do and looking out for folks is something that I personally really appreciate, because just being firsthand in that wild world, you see a lot of things, and there are so many like little ways that you can really mess yourself over, like a car can wreck you, honestly. I mean, I've seen it happen. Being upside down in a car, you're in a bad spot. So helping people navigate that process is a truly noble thing to do, and your passion for it is your passion for it's awesome, and I think you're going about it in a really authentic, and you preach the the educational aspect of it, man. That's everything. So talk about that.
So Trent, that's awesome. I mean, I appreciate that so much. I do look at it from an education standpoint. I realize that not everyone can afford to hire someone to do the process for them, right? And so if I can, like I mentioned before, if there's 75 people buying new cars every day here just in Murfreesboro, if I can shed just a little bit of information every day or over the course of their week, that when they're ready to buy a car, that they're thinking a little bit differently than they did in the past.
Right.
Maybe they're a little bit more cautious of add-ons, or maybe they're a little more educated on how to find out what their trade's worth.
Those addendums, bro.
Yeah, the addendums.
I
mean, over the last 4 or 5 years, they've become insane numbers, $5, $6, $7 grand. And
grand?
Oh yeah, I mean,
no way.
It's
I remember
amazing.
when we a new dealership bought our. I worked at Toyota of Cool Springs.
Okay.
And a company out of Florida bought this whole. It was the Alexander family before that, and they had like 26 dealerships. Insane, just insane. But anyway, they bought all of them, and they came in, and it was the lifetime warranty right out the gate, and then the addendum on, it was like, what was it? Wheel locks and
your splash guards, floor mats, and paint protection.
Yeah, dude. I was like, wow, it's just straight markup.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah.
And so the thing that we forget as consumers is that these salespeople, and I know some great ones, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some folks that go into work every day and really, truly want to help people.
Yep.
I'm not a dealership basher. I spent 16 years growing a wonderful life, taking care of my family. But there are some scenarios where people are being taken advantage of here in our community, around this Nashville market. And I want to be able to help them through the process. And sometimes that's going to look like, hey, don't go into the dealership without a pre-approval from either your credit union or your local bank. The dealer may be able to provide you great financing, but if you know what you're qualified for, you can protect yourself from their ability to mark up your rate and make a ton of money on you and stuff like that. So there's advantages to some of the coaching that I put out there, because
100%.
Hopefully, you walk in a little more confident.
100%.
If you don't want to do any of it, I'm willing to help with that side of it too, right?
Right.
And it's, you pick out a car, you want a new Honda Pilot, you want a new Highlander. Great. Let me go negotiate that car deal. You walk in, sign your final paperwork. And in some cases, I can even have all that done at your house if the dealership's able to do it. So, I mean, it's pretty cool stuff that we're able to accomplish.
That's awesome. I love that. So how do people get or how can people get in touch with you?
For sure.
Just walk them through the process of like your like how you're different.
Okay, cool. So every one of my clients start with a 15-minute free consultation to see if I'm even a good match.
Sure. Well done.
Sabrina hates sometimes those 15-minute calls because I give away a lot of information in them, and feels like that's, free knowledge. But
Sure.
at the same time, if it doesn't make sense to work together, either financially on their side or maybe time-wise, because I do need 3 or 4 days to work out a car deal. Some people need a car yesterday.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, I may not be the right fit. The reason for that is because I'm negotiating with several dealers to make sure that I get you the best deal.
That's awesome.
But that being said, we start with that 15-minute consultation. We find out what your goals are. We make sure that if you're not just trying to accomplish the best deal,
Right.
because one of the things that I love about this isn't just that I save you money. I'm going to accomplish that. But man, it's all that back and forth angst and frustration. And I mean, Trent, when I tell you that I hear every single day that I'd rather go to the dentist and
Yeah.
have a tooth pulled than buy a car,
100%.
it's crazy. And so that's that part of it. Like we spend, I think the average car is closing in on $40,000.
Jeez, that's wild.
So when you start to think about how much money we're spending on a car, I mean, I mentioned a Tahoe or a Yukon earlier. Those are 80 to 100 grand right
all
now.
day.
And you start getting into the ultimates and stuff like that over $100,000. And our parents bought houses for less than that.
Yeah, 100%.
But they had a realtor representation in that whole process that protected them from scams or getting taken in that whole negotiation. And so I'm essentially a buyer's agent in that regard,
you
right?
are,
So
yeah.
coming in and kind of protecting them from making maybe emotional decisions, because that's one of the things that I try to leave out is my emotions. It's just, to me, it's finding my client the best deal, the fastest and most hassle-free process.
Yeah.
And, so we go through that process of finding out. I offer levels of coaching and support throughout the buying process. So if you say, hey, Chris, I'm going to go in, I'm going to test drive a couple cars, and, can I call or text you throughout the process? I offer those types of support packages
cool.
as well.
Nice. Okay.
Texting, emailing, calling throughout the process. Hey, what's my trade worth? And, should I do an extended warranty? And, hey, they're telling me my interest rate is this. Do you think that's fair? I can answer all those questions.
That's awesome.
Or we go all the way up to a full service negotiation package where I just basically hand you a deal for the car that you want and say, hey, when do you want to pick it up?
There you go.
And so that's a full service. That's everything through the process. A lot of folks do like still sitting with a finance manager, working through some of that extended warranty, gap insurance, and things like that. But I love coaching through that to make sure you're not getting taken in the process, but also making sure that it matches up with your driving habits and your needs, because there are so many different ways that they can package those and price them so that they make sense. Because I'm not anti extended warranty. Yeah, I'm not anti extended warranty or anti gap, but I want to make sure we get it.
Yeah, I was about to say Gap's like always, and is Gap. I was always taught Gap was like you really should do Gap.
Yeah. So that's a great point. So gap insurance should be on just about every car, with the exception of if you've put 20% down payment or have that kind of 20% equity in your trade.
Got you.
So if you're financing about 80% or less, gap insurance isn't as required.
Okay.
And for those that don't know what the gap insurance is, it's when your vehicle, God forbid, is in a total loss situation, and you have a balance on that loan, the gap covers the difference between what your insurance company is willing to pay and what you owe on the vehicle.
Right.
And so in the case that your insurance company says your car's worth $25,000, but you still owe $30,000, that $5,000 difference is a gap. And so I recommend having that. for what is typically about $12 to $15 a month, it's worth having.
Got you. Yeah, definitely remember that.
Yeah, for sure.
They're like, I was even, when I was doing a deal for myself, they're like, no, you're getting Gap. And I was like, okay. And it's, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I love that 20% number. I think that's a great rule of thumb. So that's good to know.
Yeah, for sure.
What else, man? What else do the people need to know?
Well, so you can find us, www.the615negotiator.com.
Beautiful.
That's our website. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as 615 Negotiator. TikTok as well, CP, the 615 Negotiator.
Nice.
And so we're kind of on all the socials, the website.
Yeah, you're killing the social game.
Yeah, I'm trying to put a lot of content out there that is helpful through the process. And, you know, while it's free advice, I know I can't sit down with every single customer and client that's buying a car.
It just gains trust, right? Out there. Yeah, it just gains trust, and people appreciate tangible information to, you know, like, oh, I would like to work with this guy. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. Smart, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I know, how long have y'all been in Murfreesboro?
So we moved here in 2017, May of 17. So basically 8 years right now.
Gotcha.
And came down here, worked at the Honda store in town.
Gotcha.
And moved our whole family down here. Sabrina's parents came down with us. And then my mom moved down in 2019.
Nice. The whole
crew is here hanging out.
It's a great place to be.
Yeah, it's nice to have. So we still have a lot of family up in Chicagoland area, and that's where we're originally from. And as much as we miss them, Middle Tennessee and Murfreesboro has become our home. We're actually in Rockville.
Yep.
But I think Rockville's kind of got that just country Murfreesboro
close
aspect
enough,
to it.
Close enough to everything.
That's right. That's so our daughter's at Rockville High School, as she'll be an upcoming sophomore, and plays volleyball here in town at Rhythm. I think you have some connections to Rhythm too, don't you?
We do have some ties to Rhythm, yeah. Small world.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that. The whole fam's here, or most of the fam's here, and really making it. So I can feel, you know, being dealership, man. You're there. You're there. Now you're out here, really pushing your mission, your true purpose, right? Yeah. And it's man, that's gotta feel good, right? Like, how good does that feel?
There's an awesome feeling to be out doing this for folks, and you know, there are days where, you know, we look at each other and go, are we doing the right thing? You know, we left a pretty good career, you know, and I was on an elevator to running my own stores and stuff like that. And, you know, God really put on our hearts this whole mission, to your point. And it's funny because we will look at it and go, well, if this is God's plan, like, shouldn't it just like unfold, you know, and be the easiest thing in the world, right? Funny? God wants us to do this. And so, but you know, kind of a funny story is we started this business with a name. Yeah. And I think
I was about to bring it back. This is a perfect segue.
Yeah. We started this and we met you several weeks back, several months ago now. And just, we were the 615 middleman.
Right.
And so we were getting ready to get things rolling.
And with me, my background is in graphic design, visual communications. And when we moved here, I've been, you know, doing the mom thing and doing all that. And then, you know, realized that I could use my skills to help this business grow, and that's been really awesome to work together in that.
That's so cool.
You know, when you create all that stuff and you're like, okay, we've got it. We've got our social media. We've got our website. We're good. And he's like, hey,
I think I'm changing
I think I'm changing my name. I'm like, what now?
No.
So
Can we tell the whole story?
Yeah,
Please tell
absolutely.
the
So
whole
it's kind
story.
of a wild story.
It's a great story.
And so we were about, I don't know, we might have been 2 weeks into this whole thing. And, we're trying to meet people. We're out in every networking meeting, and we go over to a networking event at a restaurant in town and meeting several people. And we're just, snacking and talking and telling people. And this gal says to us, I love you so much. This is such a great idea. I can't wait to see you grow, but you've got to change your name. and both of us are looking at each other like, wait, I thought you said you loved us. Like, why would I change my name? And
tough love.
Yeah, a little bit of tough love she was given. And we were both like, we walked away from it like, no.
Yeah.
No,
Just like,
what? She's
whatever.
crazy.
Yeah.
And literally about a month ago, a very good friend of ours, Gary Eady with
Shout
the
out to
4EO,
Gary. Yes.
Love Gary and
the
his wife.
community center, Gary and Miriam, we got an opportunity to sit down with them for dinner, and we were just catching up on life and who we are and all that stuff, and just building a great relationship with them. Within 48 hours, he drops a bomb on me sounds very similar to the conversation I had 6-7 weeks prior. And he says, Chris, I've been talking with someone over the last 24 hours that is telling me that you need to change your name. And people are trying to eliminate the middleman.
Yeah, 100%.
From their business, from their personal life, the cost, all that stuff. And he's saying, Gary says, man, I don't know how you're going to take this. I didn't know how to tell you. I've been praying about this, and I hope that you can appreciate where I'm coming from. And then I'll tell you, I'll be honest, I was about to break down in tears because I was looking for why, like, it wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
Emotionally, for me, for Sabrina, for the community, and I'm going, everyone's trying to eliminate me.
Right.
Right?
That's
and
not
I'm
what we're
thinking
going
about
for.
it, and I'm like, that is not my intention with a brand.
Right. Kind of the
Right?
opposite.
Like, I kind of did that wrong.
Yeah.
And
great.
so I said to Gary, I said, dude, within the next few hours, you're going to see a name change. And he goes, Chris, you walk into a room, you're 6'5", you're this presence when you walk into the room, and I don't think about those things, I mean, it just is what it is. And he said, you're like a superhero, man. You're saving people money. You're saving people time. You're rescuing them from dealers. You're the 615 negotiator. And I'm
Let's
like,
go.
Yeah.
oh, that's it, and
Yes.
so.
That's so good.
But God just found a little bit more graceful way to put that message into our hearts, and so we do appreciate that.
Yeah, and Gary told that story actually this morning again in a networking group that we're in, and he said he didn't talk to any individual necessarily, that he was hearing that directly from God.
Wow.
And his ability to look me in the eye today and say, I wasn't necessarily trying to lie to you about it, but
Yeah.
I want you to know that God was the one that placed that on my heart, and I had to figure out a way to communicate that to you. And so I was so blessed by that, and thankful that he shared that with me, because while yes, I go in the middle, and that was my original thought process. I'm between you and the dealership, right?
Sure.
So I'm in the middle. But man, when I realized that
We're not here to be in the middle. We're here to be on someone's side.
Right.
that's right. Yeah, and I'm on your side. So that's
right.
something that maybe separates me as well. And so that brings up a good point. I'm not paid by any dealership.
Right.
And so I have no ties to a dealership. I don't put myself in a position to feel inclined or feel like a deal is better somewhere here or there
Right.
because I'm getting some kind of kickback. Mm-hmm. It literally is the best deal or scenario for my client. And, so it puts me in a position of non-bias, right?
Right.
And so I like that feeling. Mm-hmm. And so to your point, I'm not in the middle necessarily. I am on your side.
Right. That's awesome. And you can justify, like, whatever you charge as
Sure.
like, you're like, well, I just saved you this much money.
Right.
Here's my cut.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a fair, like everybody wins, right?
Yeah, and so I am fee based. I'm not a commission, Trent. What I do is I do charge you a flat to do the service that I provide.
Smart.
But it is guaranteed.
Right.
All right. So if you said, Chris, I need you to find me, 2025 Lincoln Navigator, and I can't save you the $900 fee, I'll give you that difference back.
There you go.
Right. And now there are situations, that are difficult where a vehicle just came out. It's a new model and the hype is on that model. That GX 550 is in that realm. It's a pretty sweet car.
Yeah.
But
like
it's
that.
hard to come by.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there are vehicles like that, the Toyota Land Cruiser, where they
Yes.
come out and the demand is super high. I may not be able to save you a lot off the window sticker, but in those situations, I want to help you get the best. I want to help you get the best deal. If you want a GX 550, you can afford the difference.
Yeah,
But
come on.
awesome. But to that end, I am in this to help people save the time and energy that goes into negotiating.
That's worth so much.
And that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome, man. I think you're onto something, and the way y'all are going about it's just really, again, I can't stress the authenticity factor.
No,
like,
man,
because
I appreciate it, Trent.
it's easy to see through stuff these days. Like when you're not in it for the right reasons, it just is such a red flag, and there's been zero of those from my point of view. So I just think y'all are really onto something. Like you said, there's such a demand for this service. Like, I mean, it's and people would rather
have
be
root
at
canals and
literally be at the dentist office, or who knows, whatever, basically anything else, but
for sure.
but dealing with a car, or trying to do a car deal, which is so true. It's like what is it, like public speaking, and then probably doing a car deal. You'd almost rather be in the coffin at the funeral or whatever.
Oh, gosh. Those things make me cringe. Like coming from the dealership world, I'm like, I can't believe people thought that about experiencing it. But
right? And the way that in inner dialogue in the dealership, it's all just like, we're killing it, we're making it, it's excellent, right? Everything's excellent. That survey is very important. If anything was not excellent, call me right now. Yeah,
we run into and I want to brag on Sabrina a little bit, but she's obviously has a better presence than I do. She's not only the beauty of the brand, but the beauty of our presence. And so I love having her as a partner.
Dude, let's talk about that, man. Sorry, not to cut you off, but everybody says that, right? Don't work with your spouse. Yeah. Don't work with your family.
There are times where it's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
And obviously getting something off the ground, and financially you're just trying to work through, spending money and doing this and trying to just get things going. And we're going to different networking events, and she's here and I'm here, and we're scheduling. And
awesome.
I've managed a lot of people in my career, probably thousands in the last 15, 16 years. And I struggle when I try to manage her.
As you should.
Right? And so sometimes I find myself going, hey, why didn't you do this? Or, I thought we talked about this. You were going to, and I go, oh yeah, we're going to get in the car together and try and hold hands. And that's not going to work out well if I keep doing this, and, but she has been such an awesome part of the business, in that not only is she a great support system as a sounding board, and as she's a great graphic designer. And if you've seen some of our socials, she's doing comics, and she does
the comics
backgrounds,
are so fire.
all this stuff. And it's like, she pieces something together, and what would take you or I don't know, months to do. And
sure.
I'd be going, what?
And it still wouldn't be good.
Right, it would be junk. So she makes the brand look great.
That's awesome.
But what I've also seen is, I like going into a meeting scenario, like one-on-one, or, or group setting, and having conversations with people. she's like this networking butterfly.
Yeah.
Where she's like out in the community and everybody loves chatting with her and talking to her. So it's been fun to see her get an opportunity because she mentioned she was a stay-at-home mom, which is probably harder than working anything.
Yep. The hardest
But
job.
she's now like out there just meeting all these people and having a, you know, I'm like, who was that just called you? And it's like, well, that was, you know, Tim over at this. And I'm going, what's Tim want? You know,
Yeah,
and,
right.
you know, it was trying to get a hold of the 615 negotiator.
It's a deal.
Well, that's me.
Yeah, right.
You know, not you.
Yeah.
But no, we've had a blast with it, and
Yeah.
she's doing really well.
I think it's just recognizing each other's strengths
Yeah.
and, you know, letting each other run with it.
Yeah.
You know, because like he said, something that you see in your head that you want to try to make that could take so much time. It's just the two of us. So how can we divide and conquer? How can we save time? How can we use our strengths and gifts in the best way to get this business going? So
For sure.
Y'all are doing it. It's cool to I'm super pumped to be doing this once a month, by the way. So I can't wait to see what y'all come up with for your time here, and it's gonna be really cool to kind of grow, you know, together.
sure.
And that's the whole thing over here at STP, just trying to, you know, let people know about the people that are doing things the right way, bringing light to what's going right,
I
man.
appreciate
So
that, Trent.
y'all are really
Appreciate you.
doing it, man. It's an honor to have y'all as part of the 1200 Club. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
I know
big
you're
things on-
particular about that as well.
Yeah,
so that,
we don't-
that means a lot.
Yeah, man. I was talking to somebody Tuesday, and it's amazing just the people that walk in the door, man. Like, you talk about God, and really, it kind of gets me in my feels. Like, it's really crazy. Don't get me wrong, definitely prospecting, definitely pushing, you know, the mission, trying to grow, trying to build, but it's wild. Just it's a really big blessing just having folks like y'all walk in, you know, approach me at Murfreesboro Motion. Shout out to Amanda with Murfreesboro
Yes.
Motion.
Yeah, Amanda Howell, part of the AHI agency.
Yeah, the glue to a lot of things around here.
that's right.
But yeah, man, it's just been really cool. When people like y'all like get it, you know, that's such confirmation on my side of things. So, not to get too sappy here, but it's awesome when the right people walk in the door, and pumped for, you know, future collabs. Definitely see your own pod. Like I'm fired up just to see what y'all could do. Not putting you on the spot. The timing.
There may be a future.
Yeah. Just I think it'll be really cool. And the 1200 Club will be a great way to kind of tiptoe into that. Just like y'all being able to really tell your side of things, and how getting into the weeds with, like, you know, eliminating some of those stigmas of working with your spouse and working together. Like that excites me, because cool. I love breaking stereotypes, you know, like, cause y'all are really doing it, and it's like, you know, it's not easy.
It's all her.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all her.
It takes two, man. Like, and like you said, recognizing strengths and staying in your own lane in certain areas and trusting each other, man. It's just a beautiful thing. So, super pumped to be working with y'all, and can't wait to see y'all just keep killing it. It's gonna be super fun.
Awesome, Trent. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. We'll wrap this one up. If you have any interest in joining the 1200 Club, please reach out to me, spreadthepositive.net, at spreadthepositive. All the things, y'all know what to do. Be sure to follow the 615 Negotiator, or the 615negotiator.com. Yeah. It's just CP. Say it again. Plug away one more time.
So CP, this 615 Negotiator on TikTok.
There you go.
615 Negotiator on Instagram and Facebook, and then the 615negotiator.com.
Love it, man. Well, y'all know what to do. Get involved. If you're looking for a car, Chris is your guy, and we're going to make some magic happen here with the 1200 Club, and just keep it moving. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.